Hello and welcome. Our top focus today is on Nigeria. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu is on a 2-day state visit to France. This visit has symbolic as well as strategic importance. It is the first state visit by a Nigerian leader to France since the year 2000. It comes at a time when Paris is seeking partners as it continues to lose influence in Africa, while Abuja is seeking investments amid a declining economy. The Nigerian president received a warm welcome in Paris on Thursday. He was received with full military honors by the French Republican Guard. Later, he attended the Nigerian-France Business Council meeting at the Élysée Palace, along with French President Emmanuel Macron. At the high-profile gathering, both leaders pledged to deepen economic and diplomatic ties, with a focus on trade and investment.
We've been working on stabilizing the security system in Nigeria, and we are getting closer and closer. We are doing better now in the area of security. I can assure all the investors here that Nigeria is open for business, and I thank you for your collaboration.
You are making reforms that are unique in your country's history, and your government, is really profoundly transforming the Nigerian economy. That's why France, aside from our historic relationship and the role we already have, wants to do more in sectors like energy and others, in industry, in new technologies. We have, along with the President and his ministers, outlined several new areas of activity.
Now, Tinubu's visit to France is seen as an opportunity for both the countries. For the French president, it is an effort to revive dwindling ties with African nations amidst a series of setbacks in West Africa. France, which was a major colonial power in Africa, is now turning to English-speaking nations to renew ties. Its former colonies like Mali, Burkina Faso and Nigeria's neighbor Niger have cut ties and have turned to Russia for security and aid after military coups in all of these nations. Now, Senegal is the latest Francophone country to announce that it wants France to close its military bases in the country. Then Chad in Central Africa has also ended defense cooperation agreement with France. So in an effort to reverse all of the suffering, France is pivoting toward non-French-speaking nations. Macron, who came to power in 2017 with an agenda to revive ties with Africa, visited Nigeria in 2018, Ethiopia in 2019, and South Africa in 2021. While Nigeria's neighbors and other nations in the region are shifting away from Paris, it is still seeking to build ties. Nigeria under Tinubu, who's assumed power in 2023, is battling soaring inflation and food prices. And more than half of the country's population is living below the poverty line. So for Tinubu, the visit represents an opportunity to tap economic investment. But despite all of the challenges, Nigeria, which is Africa's most populous nation and a leading oil producer, is significant for France. Nigeria was France's #1 trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa in 2023. While other West African nations battling Islamist insurgency have kicked French troops out, Nigeria could become a key partner for French counter-terrorism operations. For years, Nigeria has been plagued by various jihadist groups, including Boko Haram. Nigerian president is also the elected head of the West-backed West African bloc of ECOWAS. So partnership with Nigeria could be crucial strategy for Paris to recover from its declining influence in Africa. So will French President's new Africa strategy work? To discuss, we have with us Dr. Ambrose Igboke, an international affairs analyst who is joining us live from Enugu in Nigeria. Thank you for being with us.
Good afternoon, Alyson. Thanks for having me on the show.
Now, Tinubu's visit to France marks the first state visit by a Nigerian head of state in 24 years. With a focus on strengthening economic ties, what specific sectors or industries are likely to see the most significant boost from this partnership? And how can Nigeria leverage these ties to attract more foreign investment?
Well, France has been a very good partner with Nigeria for over the years. Remember, during the colonial times, it was Britain for a few of the African countries like Nigeria and Ghana, while France had many of the West African countries. And that's why today we have in the 18-member ECOWAS, 15-member ECOWAS states, French-speaking countries, Anglophone countries, and more. And since then, France has been, having serious investment in Nigeria. Major companies like oil company like Total Energy now. We have even in the cement manufacturing, we have Lafarge. Something like the French have had a cultural center in Nigeria called Alliance Française for many years, for more than 50 years they have been there. And so we have Nigeria, one of the first Nigeria automobile assembling plants, which is Peugeot, is a collaboration with Peugeot is a French company. We also had, in the past, we had Michelin in Nigeria, which is the tire producer, which is French. And so many other companies. Currently, we have something like AXA, which is a French insurance company. So we have so much in common. Schneider Electronics, Electrical just did a huge investment in Nigeria. So we have a serious partnership with it. Will open more opportunities for Nigeria to have business with France. But I must add a caveat. The French do not go to where they don't gain massively. That has been their trajectory over the years. In fact, the French, I make bold to say, do not go to where they don't exploit you. And so that's what Nigeria must watch out for. And what we had in Mali, Burkina Faso, was because they were tired of France for over almost 100 years. The same thing. We have some multilateral agencies that France intervention program in Nigeria. You find out that it is French people that the French bring their engineers, the French bring the equipment, the French bring the materials. There's no local content. So that kind of relationship is parasitic. And that is what President Tinubu should watch out for. The French government always try to do parasitic relationship with their partners, and that has to stop. It will be mutually beneficial to both Nigeria and France.
Yeah. Right. And Dr. France, under President Macron, as you've touched on there, is actively seeking to expand its influence beyond its traditional sphere in Africa, especially in light of, as you mentioned, the shifts in Mali and Niger. How does this visit signal a shift in France-Nigeria relations, and what does it mean for France's broader geopolitical strategy in West Africa?
I think in terms of political strategy, France does not come number one, does not come number two. Maybe we may say France is number three, because Nigeria has more political ties with the British, and then followed by the Americans. So France is coming a distant third. Because France has not really had, apart from business connections, the relationship with the West and Nigeria has been a two-horse race between Britain and the United States of America. Beyond business, I don't see how France could actually exert any political pressure in Nigeria unless Britain wants them to take front the burner, or America. But I think Britain and America still have a lot to gain from Nigeria, so I don't see them sitting idly and allowing France to, take over. France will be looking for new partnership, especially. Of course, we also know that there's a gas pipeline that a lot of the oil majors in Europe are also involved in, from Nigeria to Europe. So Nigeria still, holds a lot of business potentials for France. But for political leverage, I don't think France will push more than they already have, because they know that they are friends. The United States of America and Britain are entrenched in Nigerian politics. So I don't think they want to push that boundary. Sure. But again, I don't think that he wants to solidify it, because Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, we call him he's a Niger boy, as we say downtown in Nigeria. We want to speak our pidgin English. He's a Niger boy, because he did his internship when he was a very young lad here in Nigeria. And he could even go to African Shrine. Yeah. He went to a lot of places. He grew up in Lagos, and he stayed some years, and that's why he could even speak our pidgin English. So I think he leveraged on that relationship to invite President Tinubu.
Right. Doctor, thank you very much for being with us on First Post Africa. Your valued insights are appreciated.
Thank you very much for having me.